We're back. You know, while most of the focus in Iowa here has been on the Republican presidential candidates ahead on Tuesday's caucuses, tomorrow's caucuses, there's one other candidate actually participating. He's been running a well-organized and, you must say, stealth campaign out here, President Barack Obama. 4 years ago, Iowa helped propel Obama to the presidency. He won here, and now the Obama team has opened 8 campaign offices across the state. It's held 4,000 personal meetings with potential supporters. It's made over 300,000 telephone calls to supporters in advance of tomorrow's caucuses. Joining me now are Obama campaign surrogate Jen Psaki, who also formerly worked as the White House Deputy Communications Director, and Jeff Zeleny, the great reporter for the New York Times. First of all, let's get it objective, then we'll get it from you, Jen. Objectively, tell me what you can tell me about the Obama campaign here tomorrow and on until the general election.
Well, for one thing, President Obama is actually on the ballot tomorrow. Democrats are going to go out to voice their support for him. So one thing that they're trying to do is make sure that that number is fairly high and make sure there isn't any trouble in places like Johnson County and Iowa City to get someone else on the ballot or to nominate someone else in those precincts. But the real point of the Democratic caucuses is sort of a test run for organizing. I've spent a lot of time with some neighborhood volunteers and organizers from Obama for America. And these people have been out here making phone calls, out trying to drum up support, first for the health care initiative, then for other things, but finally they have something really to organize. So the things tomorrow night is just trying to drum up the support to fire up the old gang, if you will, because they have a lot of work here to do. Jen may disagree, but the Obama campaign has an uphill battle here in Iowa over the next 10 months.
Well, let's ask you, respond to both those questions. How good is your organization? Is it aimed at warming up the line, get it hot for next fall? And two, how big a challenge is it to get the president, the delegates or the electoral votes from Iowa?
Well, first, it's great to be back in Iowa. This is a place that has so much history for the president, and he's been continuing this conversation with the people in the state since he won 4 years ago and had that incredible night. And you can tell by the crowd here, we have a lot of Obama supporters in the crowd, which I love.
Actually, they're hardball supporters.
Well, maybe they're hardball. Maybe they're...
But they could be both.
That's fine. That's fine.
How many here for Obama? Okay, well, you made your point.
There are some Obama supporters here. But I will say that the most interesting thing about the next couple of days is when the Republican candidates pack up, they clean up their offices, they leave. The Obama campaign is still going to be here on Wednesday. You mentioned the 8 offices. You mentioned the calls. This is a continuing conversation. Tomorrow night's a part of that. The president will be live streaming into caucuses all across the state, having a conversation with the people. But we know that we need to talk about what needs to be done with the economy, where we're going to lead the country, and that's exactly what he'll be doing tomorrow night.
So how would you describe it as a partisan, and that's what you are, fair enough. How would you describe the need to carry Iowa? How important is it, the Hawkeye state? Do you need it?
Of course it's very important.
You need it?
You need. There's many paths to get there,
okay,
Chris.
That's the fluff argument.
But the president loves this state, and I think there's no question he wants to win it next November.
What do you think, Jeff, in terms of the importance of this state?
He absolutely needs Iowa. I cannot imagine a scenario where this president being reelected if he does not win the state of Iowa. Of course, mathematically it's possible, but if you're not winning in a place like Iowa, that means that you are in trouble other places. So I think a couple
things. The unemployment rate here, by the way, is not as terrible
it's 5.7%
nationwide, which should mean it's better off for him.
It is, but Republicans have really become more organized here over the last 4 years. Republicans had great victories here in 2010. Governor Branstad is back. He's and several Republicans, so they control the House and things. So I think it'll be pretty even up. And the good thing is we'll come back to Iowa many times between now and next November.
If the unemployment rate goes back up to about 9, of course that's worst case scenario. How does the president make his case for re-election? If the number goes up again to that 9%, which seems so awful.
Well, it is. But, the case is that the contrast between what the candidates are offering. And you have, whether it's Mitt Romney or Rick Perry or whomever's running on the Republican side or platform, they're running against a plan for its economic security of the middle class. And the president is presenting a contrast to that. I would encourage anybody to go back and read the speech the president gave when he won the Iowa caucuses, because he promised a tax cut for the middle class, an end to the war in Iraq, affordable and accessible health care for all Americans, and he's delivered on those. But the journey's not done, and he wants to continue this over the next year and 5 years.
So you're hopeful?
Absolutely.
Jeff, this how do you bet this state right now?
I think right now it depends who the nominee is, of course, and we're going to have a window into that the results of the Iowa caucuses tomorrow night. If Mitt Romney happens to win, it'll be a shorter nominating contest, and Romney and Obama will be going after each other a lot. I think Mitt Romney could actually have some strength here. He's a middle-of-the-road conservative, although he sometimes doesn't look like it in this primary. But at the end of the day, I think Iowa will be very close.
I think he's more moderate than he's willing to admit. The Democratic National Committee, by the way, has been hitting Mitt Romney. They do believe he's the candidate for the past month, and now they're holding events in Iowa with Randy Johnson, a man who was fired from his job in 1992 after Romney's company, Bain Capital, took over the company where he worked. Listen to how Johnson characterized Romney and his co-workers at Bain Capital in an interview with ABC News just last week.
I really believe, and I think it's come out over the years since this time by other Bain Capital directors, that they had actually had a philosophy, a way of doing business, and it was to make themselves richer.
At the expense of?
Of the workers. I mean, they were to make the companies lean. They were going to drive up debt, charge fees, sell stock, whatever it takes to make big dollars for the investors. Families were devastated. In some cases, we had the husband and wife both working there. They lost all income. And it doesn't get much worse than that.
Well, he makes it sound like the classic chop shop operation. You go into a company, you fire everybody, the company dies in a few months, but you made a ton of money.
Well, look.
Is that what Bain Capital is all about?
I think Mitt Romney's been parading around as a big job creator, but the guy was working for a company where his job was to make a profit for his investors. That's how a lot of businesses work, but let's not pretend you are out there running a job.
So Mitt Romney's a job killer, not a job creator.
Well, and a benefit cutter as well.
Okay, thank you, Jen Psaki. Good luck out here. Jeff Zoney, as always, it's great to have you from the New York Times.